Representative Dines, you are trying to create a new government agency, an ethics commission, in a year when we are having a fiscal crisis. Why is this the time to do this thing?
A very good question, Gwyneth. Two answers for that. The first answer is the fact that this will not take effect until a couple of years down the road, because it first of all has to be voted on by the public, which would be 2018. And then when you would have a wait after the general election in order for enabling legislation. So we're a few years down the road before that will occur, number one. And number two is the fact that this is a high priority item. I think that we can pass all the bills we want to up here in Santa Fe, but until we show the public that we're willing to do something to go ahead and check and balance, have checks and balances through Ethics Commission, then it's going to be very difficult to gain that trust of the public.
Is it possible that this will save us money in the long run?
I think it will save us money in the long run for various reasons. I think number one is, it's really, and people are beginning to understand it up here, it's really an economic development item. Because what happens is right now, a lot of our businesses are not coming to New Mexico because of the perceived corruption. There was a survey done last year where 91% of 250 business people around our state felt that the corruption that's here is causing businesses not to come into Mexico or having businesses leave New Mexico. That's number one. Number two is the fact that it's very important for the public standpoint to be able to know that we're willing to police ourselves, but most importantly, to do that not behind closed doors as it's done now. We want to have it to be transparent and out in the open, and that also, I think, will help gain the trust of the public. And the third thing is to have the authority of this commission to make decisions and to follow through. And so I think all those combined make it to where it's not only timely, but needed.
Maggie Toulouse-Oliver, you are required by law to update the system that we use to track money in politics. But this is a really tight budget year, so how are you going to find the money to do it?
We do, and it's a really tough budgetary year up here in Santa Fe, and I, along with many other deserving state agencies, are asking the legislature for extremely limited funds. But we are required by law to make a very important upgrade to the campaign finance information system, to make it more transparent and to have the information be more digestible and meaningful to the public. So we are asking the legislature for those much needed funds, not only to be able to provide the information in a meaningful way to the public, but also so that my office can better enforce the laws that we are charged with enforcing around campaign finance reporting.
When you say make that information more digestible, what do you mean? Like that we can look in there and download stuff more easily?
Exactly. We want to not only provide the public, but also our own office internally the ability to cross-reference information. So if a lobbyist reports making a contribution and a legislator reports receiving that contribution, that those things match, that you can identify them by the date and the amount and the lobbyist and the legislator. Right now, our current system is so limited, you can't even find those things to make them match up, and it's a real problem.
We have been talking with the folks at New Mexico Ethics Watch about the financial disclosure statements that they say are, not filled out properly, not completed. What are you doing to improve that situation?
Well, so first and foremost, we appreciate the report that Ethics Watch put out because it did really bring up some important points. The purpose of having financial disclosure statements is so that we, the public, can understand whether our elected leaders have any potential financial conflicts of interest in terms of the decisions they're making. So it's really important that we have complete and accurate information for every elected official in the state. So the first thing that we're doing as an office is we're, of course, reviewing the forms when they come in to make sure that they're complete. And that nothing's been missed on their face. The next thing that we're going to be doing in the next couple of weeks is putting all of those forms online so that we have 100% transparency, and anybody in the state can look up an elected official that they choose and see, where's their income coming from, where might there be any potential conflicts of interest.
You're also working on tightening the rules in this office for campaign finance reporting. What's that going to look like?
That's right. So there are a number of pieces of legislation moving through the process currently that would both enhance campaign finance disclosure, especially around independent committees, as well as fixing certain aspects of our current code, such as the Voter Action Act and how public money is spent on campaigns. But We don't know what the process is going to look like at the end of the legislative session. So my office is also working in a parallel fashion to draft new rules that create clarity and provide explanations for candidates and campaigns about how they should report and provide them with guidelines about how they can spend the money and how they can raise the money moving forward. We really want very robust, very meaningful information when candidates and campaigns are reporting their expenditures and contributions.
Why is it important that we clarify what candidates can spend money on?
They need clarification because our statutes are actually, in many cases, extremely broad and extremely vague. And as the Secretary of State, I'm actually charged with the duty of helping to provide clarity to candidates and campaigns, and then also on the back end to enforce the laws when they're violated. So it is really important for me to be able to explain to a candidate or a campaign, this is what you need to do and this is how you need to do it, so that on the back end, if those things don't happen, if that candidate or campaign is what we call not compliant, then we can enforce those laws on behalf of the citizens of the state.
Many people who have sat in this chair before you have told us that this office does not have enough money to do the things that we expect it to do. Do you agree?
It's actually extremely true that this office is historically and currently critically underfunded. In fact, for this current fiscal year, we're projected to have a shortfall, and that's with about 25% less staff than actually exist within our organizational chart. So yes, this office is overworked and underfunded, and it's really important that we get adequately funded, not only for this fiscal year, but for the next, so that we can do the important work that this office has been charged with, especially on ethics and accountability enforcement of elected officials.